My next video is going to be a game that I downloaded from the Games That Weren't website. From reading the title of the video, you know what the game is. I've got it for the Commodore 64 and the Amstrad CPC already. And for some reason, the Commodore 64 case has got Spectrum screenshots, but the Amstrad case has got proper Amstrad screenshots. And if we have a look inside here, these are the 4 levels, or films. The Good 'Uns, the Bad 'Uns and Seymour. The Plum-Shaped Pirate. Seymour Bond License to Spill. And the Slodgefather. So there you go. And also, for some reason, in the controls, it says brake to quit. There isn't a brake key on the Amstrad. So it's a complete mystery how you're supposed to quit that game. I've got my Amiga set up here. I've transferred the disk image over to a floppy disk so I can play this on real hardware. And now over to the game. Is that music supposed to be placeholder music? I still don't know which way around they wanted the game to be named. Stuntman Seymour or Seymour Stuntman. This looks exactly the same as the other games. It's not really a million miles away from the Commodore 64 version, just with a bigger screen and better graphics. Even though it is a little bit simple, I do quite like the pixel art in this. It was probably just a quick job for the people that made this. Just a quick little project. In fact, it might... Do you know, I'm thinking it might have been the same people that made the other versions of the game. They might have done all of the different versions of it. But yeah, the layout's exactly the same. You've even got that little status bar at the bottom, which I don't think you really needed on Amiga games, but maybe having the status bar does help with the drawing speed, updating the screen. It probably does run at 50 frames per second, which not all Amiga games did. So it seems like a solidly programmed thing. Although saying that, there was a bit of graphical glitching there suddenly. The animation is a little bit simple. I mean, I don't know exactly how much animation you'd expect from a basic 2D platform game, but there's more animation in the 8-bit adventure games than there is in this game, even though Seymour himself looks exactly the same. Right, this is the first boss, and he's a pirate, so I guess they're all themed on the next level in the game, so maybe that's just an error on their part. They all have exactly the same attack pattern as well. I don't think they even change. I think all 4 bosses are exactly the same. So it's a little bit sloppy, I have to say. I think even in the first CJ Elephant Antics game, all the bosses are different in some way. I think it loses 1 or 2 points for that. Yeah, game over. I was thinking that was quite easy up until that boss. You only get 5 lives, or 5 takes. There is a cheat that I saw in the comments section of the page for this on Games That Weren't. So I've typed it in, and now I have infinite lives, and I can play through the whole game. It's not a very big game, so I can probably storm through it pretty quickly here. It's a bit of an odd thing that you seem to get on the Amiga instead of the 16-bit consoles. It almost seems like the Amiga was seen as a conversion machine for a lot of smaller software developers. What I mean by that is that, especially Codemasters, there seem to be a lot of games where the ZX Spectrum was the lead platform for a game, and then that was later converted to the Amiga. So you'd get Amiga versions of 8-bit games quite a lot. Like the entire Dizzy series started off either on the Amstrad or the ZX Spectrum, and some of them are expanded. I think Treasure Island Dizzy was a fair bit bigger on the Amiga, but this game is pretty much exactly the same apart from the more colourful graphics and the weird music. I do like it though. I do quite like this game. It's just a bit simple. So there's that boss again. I don't think the first level boss was a pirate on the other versions of the game. I keep getting hit. I probably would have got another game over at this point if I didn't have infinite lives. Nice short little scene seeing him move to his next film set. It's a nice little gimmick that these games are all supposed to be set as movie sets. But I don't think Seymour is a particularly good movie star because he's just so damn ugly. I mean, bless him, it's not his fault, but... The main sprite's cute enough, but you see that little picture down in the bottom right? He's not the best looking game character in the world. So of course this has got bombs because this is pretty much a reskin of CJ Elephant Antics, which is a series of games that started off quite late on 8-bit hardware. Made it to a couple of other machines. There's a CJ Elephant Antics game on the NES as part of a 4-pack, a 4-game pack, I should say. And there's an exclusive CJ game on the Game Gear, of all things. I didn't know you could stand all that. There you go. But you'll see later on the last level that it's almost like they were going to include some collectibles. But as of right now, there's no collectibles at all. I suppose there's bombs. You can collect extra bombs, but other than items that give you fruit, other than items that give you points, there really isn't anything to collect, is there? I think even on DJ Puff on the Amstrad there was at least power-ups. And the bosses are all the same as well. Oh, this level looks quite nice. It's a nice choice of colours here. You do have that thing that always annoyed me with the CJ games and DJ Puff, where the enemies just have a random jump and they always seem to get a hit on you. There's certain enemies where you just can't avoid them without getting hit at least once. And it's not really intelligent either, they just sort of randomly jump every now and then. Oh, there you go. That's a power-up. What was that, a wine bottle? There's another one. I guess there are power-ups then. The screen shuddered there for a second. I mean, I don't really know exactly what it was like owning an Amiga at the time because I didn't own one. And to be honest with you, a lot of people copied games. I don't think as a solo release there's really enough to this. But then saying that, I know there was a 5-game Seymour pack that was released, and it must have been a very, very late release on 8-bit machines, because the Seymour games came out around 91, 92, 93. There was a 5-game pack called Superstar Seymour, I think, in a massive box. I think if this was released as part of a 5-game box set, then it might have been a bit more acceptable. There wasn't 5 Seymour games released on the Amiga. The first game was released, Seymour at the Movies, so this would have been the second one, I suppose. But if they were going to release more Seymour games, I don't know why they didn't just release Wild West Seymour, because that's actually pretty good. I really like that on the Amstrad. It's up to Codemasters to decide what they publish. But I think the reason this wasn't released is because Codemasters was starting to... They were trying to transition into one of the bigger developers that release full-priced games, rather than being a budget studio. And so I think they just stopped releasing budget games pretty much. But case in point, the last Dizzy game to be released on 8-bit machines was a full-priced game, wasn't it? Crystal Kingdom Dizzy. So they were definitely starting to release only full-priced games around this time. And of course they went on to release loads of really good Mega Drive games. A lot of them had that those 2 extra controller ports in the cartridge, so you could play 4-player games on the same console, which is pretty cool. And they released the Game Genie, didn't they? And they released loads of PlayStation games as well, didn't they? So yeah, this is the last level. It does seem to be very slightly unfinished on this level. You might have noticed there's actually collectibles in this level. And actually I never got to this level on the other versions of the game, so I don't know if this is exactly the same as how it worked on the Commodore version. But I'm going to guess it probably didn't. I'm going to have to look at a video now, aren't I, to see if there's collectibles in the other versions of the game. Because I don't think there are. Oh, the Commodore 64 version does have collectible banknotes. I'm just looking at a video now. That's a bit weird, so that's part of the original design then. The final boss on the Commodore 64 version is a giant bear with big fat cheeks. Or a hamster or something. How strange. I do like his sprite on the Commodore 64. And you just go back to the first level again. Ah, an ending sequence. That animation's a lot better than the animation in-game. Congratulations, Seymour has landed a multi-million-dollar contract at the end. Fantastic. Yeah, but wasn't he just he was just the stuntman, wasn't he? Hold on, I found a flaw in your plot.